Hi, Anne here from the school's liaison team in LIT, and welcome to the latest in our series of LIT chats. And today we're chatting all things environmental science, and I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague Clifford Guest, who's a lecturer on our environmental science programs in LIT. We offer environmental science at level 8 and at level 7 through the CAO. So we have environmental science and climate at level 8 and environmental science at level 7, and both are long-standing offerings at LIT's Thurles campus. So hi Clifford, how are you doing?
Hi Anne, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today to chat all things environmental science. So I suppose we're living really in a society now where there is an increased awareness on really important issues like the environment, like sustainability, climate change, biodiversity. But that has also led to a need and a demand for courses and education in this area. And hence why we have a long-standing course that we offer in environmental science. Could you tell us a little bit more about the course itself and maybe what type of student might be suited to applying for environmental science at LIT?
Okay, thanks very much, Anne. Yeah, you are right. There is a big focus on environmental issues, especially in the last number of years. 2015 was a big year for environmental policy. We saw the Paris Agreement on climate change and also the agreement on the Sustainable Development Goals. And in the last number of years, we're also seeing a sort of an economic push. President Biden in America is talking about the new Green Deal, where there is green growth, renewable energy, the circular economy. There's also jobs. So when there's jobs, there's a need for people to do those jobs, and they need the right qualifications, the right backgrounds. And the environmental pressures which we're under in the biosphere, across Europe, in Ireland, need people with good qualifications. We've been delivering degrees in environmental science since 2008, and prior to that in sustainable rural development, which also had a very large amount of environmental science in it. So we've been at this for the last more than 20 years now at this stage. The course which we offer is Environmental Science and Climate as the level 8, and it focuses on a number of different areas: biodiversity, water, climate action, of course, because it's a key part in the title, but also in the area of sustainable development, how to bring together the areas of the environment along with societal issues and the economy, because these three things work together. So the type of student typically that we find who is interested in the program are students who have a keen interest and a commitment to environmental protection. You don't need to be a tree-hugging member of Greenpeace or something like that, but we find people who have an interest in the outdoors, an interest particularly geography. A lot of our students have a keen interest in geography, agricultural science, the physics, chemistry, biology, the science subjects quite often, but none of them are prerequisites to get into the course. But typically, if you are interested in nature watching, if you're interested in being out in the countryside and have got a concern as to how that is best protected, then this course is probably well suited to you.
Excellent. It sounds fascinating, and I think it's important, that point that you mentioned as well, that there aren't any prerequisites, that everything starts from scratch from the beginning and students build on their skills from there. So you have a fabulous background there that I'm sure maybe students get a chance to explore it while they're studying with us. And obviously the practical learning side of things is something that's central to all courses in LIT and something we place a very strong emphasis on. So could you tell us a little bit more how that is brought into the environmental science courses through the field trips and the lab work and the work placement that students undertake across their 3 or 4 years in LIT?
Okay, and I'll just take a very quick detour. The photograph behind me is a photograph I took last summer down in Kerry when I was out on the bike, and it's looking from the south, looking north towards Carntoohil, and back into Killarney National Park. Killarney National Park has been in the news lately because there was a lot of fires down there in the last number of weeks, but it's a real microcosm of the environmental pressures which we're under. So if you listen to the environmental experts, they're saying that there is the problem of the invasive species of rhododendron within the national park. There is the pressures that are on the water courses, including crayfish and other invertebrates, especially arising out of these fires. There's also the societal relationship between the national park owned by the state and the surrounding farmers who graze sheep, and a lot of those sheep end up in the national park, and there's a sort of a tension there, and that needs to be managed. So you also need good communication skills to manage that process. The national park gets no payments from the great benefit it has in terms of attracting tourists in to Killarney and to County Kerry. But if it wasn't for the stark beauty of Carntoohil and Killarney in the national park, then it would be a far less attractive place. So the environmental skills to preserve a place like Killarney National Park are really keen. And we've had students down there in the past on work placement. So coming back on track, the work placement element comes in third year. It is currently 12 weeks. It is very likely that will extend out to a full semester with a programmatic review. And it happens at the end of third year and leads into fourth year. So in the course of the studies, there's a lot of lab-based work in terms of what you do in the laboratory, water quality analysis, soil analysis, and so on. In second year, there's a lot of field trips. So there's a full day given in second year going out doing biodiversity studies, kick sampling on streams, looking at birds and doing bird surveys, butterfly surveys, and so on. So actually having the field skills, and that's a very, very practical session. And then in third years, the expertise is starting to be built up, and it leads into fourth year where there is environmental modelling and a lot of work with geographic information systems. So coming back to Killarney National Park, you find out where there are crayfish in a stream, you find out where there's an issue in terms of runoff, maybe in terms of pollution, and you map that with a unit, and then you build up a database and corresponding maps so you can manage that environment in a holistic way. And that is a basis then for conversations and strategic planning with the local authorities, with the tourism operators, and it's a means to manage the environment. And that's essentially what we're talking about, environmental management, which incorporates particular concern for climate change.
Okay, so really, if you enjoy that hands-on learning and you like the outdoors as well, you're really getting a mix of all of that within the course as well, which sounds really exciting. And that work placement element, as you said, which is so important as well, of bringing those skills outside of the classroom and applying them in the real world of work as well. So as then a student moves through their 3 years or their 4 years of the course, then it is such a topical area, and as you say, it's an area that's becoming more and more important. So there's going to be growing opportunities from an employment perspective as well. So what job opportunities then would be available to graduates when they finish the course?
Okay, so we've had graduates who have gone into state agencies such as Teagasc, such as the Environmental Protection Agency. We have had students who have become the environmental member of staff in consultancy teams, and the consultancy might be in agricultural consultancy, but typically in specialist environmental consultancies. So they have really good skills in terms of being able to sample a river, to do a bat survey, to do the GIS mapping. We've had students who have gone on and worked specifically in geographic information systems mapping. We have had students who have gone on doing getting employment in the waste sector, in the renewable energy sector. So a broad environmental set of opportunities have arisen for graduates of our programs. We even have graduates of the programs who are specialist advisors to ministers in the current government, such as their experience and their expertise. So a lot of continued opportunities for the graduates in the environmental field, in the sustainability field as well. And the skills that you have after 4 years of study, you have the opportunities to unlock certain doors, and you have to go through, and then you have to do something once you walk through. So it's kind of, the quality of the study you put in, the the level that you come out with in terms of the quality of the degree, and then it starts to open doors, and those doors are many, and with good opportunities to get into interesting positions.
As you say, that broad range of skills that students exit the course with does make them very employable, and there are opportunities right across the country in, as you say, a variety of different areas. So you've given us, Clifford, a fantastic insight into the programme, what it contains, what students will study on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit now as we prepare to finish up our chat for today. So is there any particular advice that you would give to a student, maybe that they're finalising their CAO choices, obviously, over the next few weeks? And if somebody was thinking about the environmental science and climate degree at LIT in Thurles, any particular words of wisdom you would offer? I know I'm putting you on the spot with that.
No, you're fine. I don't know if I have any particular gems of wisdom, but practical advice is that if you're committed to the environment, if you like the notion of working outside, working in a team of people, and being at the cutting edge of trying to build a better future for all of us in terms of making sure that we have a fit environment to pass on to the next generation, consider putting in, if you're interested in the level 8 as your first choice in CAO. And if you think that you're not quite sure, but you want to maybe have a slightly shorter commitment, the level 7 is a good option to put in as well as the level 8, because there's a ladder system within LIT, so you can go from the level 7 ordinary degree into the 4th year honours degree. So I think that's probably the advice I'd give.
Yeah, I think that's really sound advice, in that giving students those options, as regards where they want to exit the course. And obviously, students that graduate over the next 3 or 4 years from the environmental science degree will also be graduating from Ireland's next technological university, which is something we're obviously very excited about as well, and which is happening over the coming months as well. So, Clifford, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that has given everybody a really good insight into the environmental science courses that we offer in LIT. If you have any questions about this course or any other courses in LIT as you prepare to finalise your CAO choices, take a look at our website, lit.ie/CAO, where you can get information on all of our courses. You can message us through all of our social media channels, or pop us an email to schools@lit.ie, and we'll be delighted to help you out. So thanks again to Clifford for joining us today. Thanks for tuning in. Take care, and we hope to speak to you all soon.
Thank you very much.